You are watching Random Access, and I'm Jenny Lynn Cleve, your host. And tonight my guest is Mark Taylor. Mark is KMVT's drones king, as I call him, because he is going to be sharing all that there is to know about the drones on the table here. Mark?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You're welcome. Tell us about these drones.
Well, these are all quadcopters. It's a subcategory of drones.
Right.
So drones really categorizes everything that's remote controllable. The government calls them UAS, or Unmanned Aircraft Systems.
These?
Yes.
Okay.
And it really just means that anything that flies through the air that doesn't have a human aboard.
Got it.
And that really just means that no human is up there to pull a cable or fix a screw if something goes wrong.
Right.
So these are fully unmanned. Obviously, we can't fit people on them. But these are your basic quadcopters.
Right.
They're what really got the FAA to do something about the airspace regulations with drones, because until they came around, you had to be a pretty good pilot to make it more than a few hundred feet with your aircraft.
Right.
So now with all of this, airspace issues have become a real problem.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you've certainly heard a lot of the stories in the news with people crashing them at sporting events or invading airspace for safety workers, police, fire, so and such.
So in relation to the ones that deliver packages and stuff, how do these compare?
So these are all probably on the consumer to prosumer levels.
Okay.
The ones that deliver packages, well, technically there are no commercial ones doing that yet. We won't start assuming the military ones delivering packages are not ones you want to have delivered. But these ones here are all commercial level. So we've got three of them. I've got this little guy here.
Okay.
These are your standard $20, $30 drone that you can buy at any electronics store.
And those are toys, right? Those aren't?
Yeah, they're toys.
Okay, okay.
Now they can do a few things. They have full control.
Yeah.
And they can even do flips if you run them. But they're cheap. They're pretty much disposable almost.
Okay.
But and they all have little battery packs on the bottom.
See, I can see it.
Yeah. So the battery pack is about half the size of the middle section.
Yes.
And a good portion of the weight. So they don't have a huge amount of flight time. So maybe
so that you would buy and give to a kid?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's already gotten stepped on with the blade. So then up from there, you've got something like this. Now these range from about $50 up to about $150, $200. And this is where you start seeing them include a camera. Now with this model, it records to an micro SD card in the thing. So you can't see the footage as it's being recorded. But it will record it while it flies around. And then once you get it back down, you can pop it off and put it into your computer and watch it there. So
this one is used just for photography and getting footage?
Yes, I would not say the footage is all that high of quality, but it will take photos and video.
Okay.
If you wanted to be serious about it, you'd probably want to go up to something about like this. So this is a DJI Phantom 4.
Okay.
It's one of the newer ones in the DJI line, in the Phantom line at least.
What is DJI? I'm sorry.
So DJI is a manufacturer of primarily drones, but they also offer some other gear for camera and other gimbal things. So a gimbal is what keeps the camera stable.
Right.
This has a gimbal, whereas this one, the camera is fixed.
Okay.
So if the quad moves like this, the camera picture tilts. The gimbal allows the camera, if I take off the little bit of plastic that keeps it still, the gimbal allows the camera to rotate in a bunch of different directions so that as the quad moves, the camera can stay
And
still.
you control the movements while it's flying How?
So all of these operate off of remote controls.
Okay.
There are some quadcopters that will work off of your cell phone, or will even do some gesture control. Gesture control is simply you put up your hand and it backs away. You can do some other hand motion like this, it'll come towards you. Up, down. Simple things like that.
Any of these or just?
Not these,
okay.
but
the
other.
more sophisticated ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of the newest generation will do hand controls. And because this one has GPS, and it also has some software in here that allows it to follow. So it'll see an object and it will follow that object. So those are some of the newer features that are coming out on the the current and the next generation of drones.
So these drones that you have here, you can only operate within a building.
I would say the smaller ones inside a building. This one, it doesn't do well in high winds.
Okay.
Well, anything over about 10
because it
miles.
looks light.
It is less than a pound.
Can I feel it?
Yeah. Actually, it is less than half a pound.
It's like, yeah, it's weightless.
Pretty much, which means the wind will take it pretty quick. That actually gets around to one of the new regulations is that any drone between the weights of 0.55 pounds, so that's about a little over half a pound, all the way up to 55 pounds, they have to be registered with the FAA. Now, anything over 55, that requires special permits.
Okay.
Because now you're getting into large drones that are possibly going to do serious damage. But anything under 0.55 pounds, which this one and this one qualify for, you can just take them home, give them to a kid, and you don't worry about it.
Right.
There are still a few other regulations, such as not flying above 400 feet, which is actually kind of hard to do, especially with the small ones. I'm fairly certain the flight time would not allow this one to get up that high.
I would bet.
In addition, the controller for that one, I don't think it has a good enough range for 400 feet. You are supposed to maintain visual line of sight with any drone you operate, and at 400 feet, that small one would be pretty hard to spot.
Do you have to get a license to take them outside?
Not if you're going to be a hobbyist.
Okay.
If you want to do it, and there's any possibility that somebody could say you have earned money through the operation of it, you do need a commercial license.
Okay.
And that's where you need to learn this. This is
that book?
This is actually one of a couple of books. This is also the smaller of the books.
Okay.
So this is the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. It is also the book that pilots have to memorize. Now, the pilots have to do a much better job of memorizing it than a drone pilot does.
They're carrying people.
Yes, but you do have to memorize a number of ways to read charts and other things, because when you operate any aircraft within 5 miles of an airport, you have to get airport permission. By the way, that's pretty much the entire Bay Area.
Right.
There are also regulations for other things, such as communication, distance, operating around people, and you just have to be aware of all those restrictions.
So an establishment like this television station would benefit from these types of drones? Especially that one.
This one.
Right.
Because it has decent quality video, 4K, and it has decent flight characteristics. So this can go up to about 45 miles an hour, which allows it to deal with some of the winds that we have around here.
But when would you use this?
Well, the most common one that we see recently is real estate. So if you want to sell your home, you fly this up above your home, you can get an aerial photo or video of your home, and it makes it that much more sellable. Other people are using them for ways to inspect things. So if the third floor building has a crack in it, you fly the drone up, take a look at it, and then you don't have to send up scaffolding or send somebody over the side. it's a lot quicker and cheaper to just use the drone.
Yeah, it sounds very economical.
Mm-hmm.
But after you buy it, what other costs do you incur using it?
With a drone like this, you end up having a battery about this big, and you're looking at buying a couple of these. So this one was about $800 refurbished, plus an extra battery at $160. To operate it, you can use it just with the remote controller, but it's very common to grab an iPad, and we all know those can get pretty pricey.
Right.
The controller itself will allow you to do just visual, but this will return video from the flight. So you can see what the camera sees on the iPad.
We're down to 3 minutes, and I have so many more questions to ask you, so I want to make sure I get this one in. So this one you would use for like real estate. Can you use this at a game? Because this television station covers a lot of games.
You are not permitted to fly any drone over a person who is not involved in the operation of the drone.
Ah!
Which pretty much means any sporting events.
Got it. So you would really only use this for something like a real estate?
Real estate, a lot of farmers will use them to inspect their fields. You'll have people just doing wildlife videos, movie shoots. I've seen people do all sorts of things with them. You can, well, if you go to any number of outdoor events, such as the X Games, they'll have several drones flying around.
Okay.
And they can do that because it's not a very well populated area, because they've already cleared it, because it's a sporting arena.
Okay. So before we run out of time, what haven't I asked you that you want to make sure the viewers hear about these drones?
Say it once more.
What haven't I asked you that you think people should know about the drones before we wrap up?
Drones are a lot of fun, but you have to be safe. Just remember that the big ones, they're more likely to actually injure you. You can actually cut your finger on the blades as they're going around. This one will hurt, but it might draw blood. The little one, probably not.
Not so much.
Yeah. So just be safe and enjoy them.
And one last question before we run out of time. Do they have drones for every different part of life, or just for this type of?
They have a very large variety of drones.
Okay.
Anywhere from helicopters to just simple drones like these, up to massive ones that can carry 20, 30-pound payloads.
Amazing. And so we are going to be using these here at the television station?
We are starting to. We will be offering our first class coming up to learn how to fly. And I don't think this will air before then, but we will start to have an official class to learn how to fly drones here at the station regularly.
Thank you for watching Random Access. Clearly, Mark deserves the title of Drone King. He's very much well informed, and any questions he has unanswered that you may have, you can check out this Bible of the drones. And I'll hold it up. You can check this book out and get your answers. And once again, thank you for watching Random Access. Thank you to this great crew. And thank you, Mark.
Thank you.